Welcome back to the Billionaire Podcast, the biggest podcast. Now, today we have, one of the most prominent figures within the racing industry in Jamaica, Doug Hollywood Gore, the big man, right? Now, Doug is going to sit us down, talk to us about his racing journey, business, and many more. Also, a little birdie told me that there's going to be a race between him and somebody on the pod, but you have to watch the pod in full to find out who that race is going to be with. Y'all know the Billionaire Podcast, the biggest podcast. Be sure to get the merch. Go on the website, get the merch, and be sure to sign up for www.protradersfund.com to get funded. They're funding traders, whether it be a stock trader, a forex trader. You can get funded capital to trade. You can join the Learn and Earn program. That's our Learn and Earn program. You join the Learn and Earn to learn how to actually trade on a day-to-day basis, so you can actually make money like how I make money in the market. So y'all know the vibe. Winners win, super blessed, super rich. Watch the full podcast.
Alright guys, so welcome back to the Billionaire Podcast, the biggest podcast on the island. And today we're here with one of your favorite requests for having him on the pod. Today, you probably see the look on his face. You see Mr. Catch Me If You Can, Mr. Doug Hollywood Gore, one of the major motorsports industry racers in Jamaica and all across the region, people. I'm telling you about. This man is massive in circuit racing. This man is massive in rally racing. He's so diverse around the steering wheel. And he's such an amazing legend. And we're so delighted to have him here on the pod. Doug,
Thank you very much for having me.
It's a pleasure.
Awesome.
All right. So, Doug, we would love to just you give us a brief overview, and we want you to tell it all to them. Tell it all to the camera. So you can give us it from the start. You can give us from where you grew up, what school you attended.
Sure.
And what, to kick it off, the question we really want to ask is, what got you into rally and circuit racing? Which one came first? Mm-hmm. But you can give us an overview of who Doug Hollywood Gore is.
All right. So I was born in, and I tell everybody Sam Sharp Square in Montego Bay. Mm-hmm. And everybody says, Sam Sharp Square? Come on, man. That's no way. But we're actually... But when there was a doctor's hospital literally right there in Shamsal Square, Montego Bay, mm-hmm. and that's where I was born. My mother was Miss Jamaica 1965, and my father came from Kingston, and a lot of people would know about the Gore homes, mm-hmm. and that's what my father did way back when.
Celebrity family.
So I spent the first 11 years of my life in Kingston, mm-hmm. and we thought that Jamaica was going to become communist, just like a lot of other people. Mm-hmm. And a lot of the middle to higher income people left Jamaica. And we all ran away to various different parts of the world. Mm-hmm. America, Canada, England, that sort of thing. And we decided to go to America to see if we could now build Gore homes mm-hmm. in America, just like we do here. It started out where we moved up to Texas, and the progress was very, very, very good at the start. Mm-hmm. And then we had the famous Texas oil crash. Basically, all the oil that was getting there, it literally just used up, and mm-hmm. there was no more oil. We came back to Jamaica, literally broke.
Yeah.
And we had to start all over again. I then went to Cornwall College in Montego Bay, and my family now decided that Montego Bay was going to be the place to stay and live. So that was the plan of action. And after going back to America now, they said, well, you have to go back to school and you have to go on further education. Flew up to Miami in, I think it was in 84, deciding, all right, this is where we're going to go now. And at this point now, we were thinking, what's the next step for myself? Mm-hmm. I'm going to go to school. I'm going to go to college. I started to work for Federal Express and started to make some really good money with them. While I'm there, I'm saying to myself, now I'm noticing that all my family members are now asking me, and friends, hey, can you buy X, Y, and Z and ship it down to Jamaica? So I said, yeah, man, I can go and buy a satellite dish, a VCR, a Walkman. Of course, I'm dating myself when I'm telling you these things. Mm-hmm. And the whole idea of the mail pack sort of what we all know today started for me.
Yeah.
I was out there trying to make enough money now to continue my dream of racing cars. I actually got into car racing quite late. I actually started at 26 years old. So, that for some people, that was actually just too old, actually, when you think about it now. My son has been racing go-karts since he was 5 years old and has now come up where he's now racing in the Caribbean Championship. So, and he's only 18. So, can you think of me at 26 years old trying to get out there into the racing world? But I was just talking to you guys earlier and saying how fortunate I was along my ride that I was now able to get corporate sponsors to sponsor me right off the bat. My first part was racing for Mitsubishi, and I raced for Mitsubishi for many, many, many years. And I was now traveling all over the world. I was doing rally racing in Japan, Mexico, someplace all over America. I mean, I'm now getting to be known and in rallying. And that rallying now took a turn where at this point now we're saying to ourselves, the crowd that we saw was mainly now at Dover. Dover Raceway was where it was carrying the swing.
Yeah.
Okay, so where do I go at this point? Do I now convert my rally car into a Dover car? We tested out the waters. We took our rally car there, and then I noticed now that the crowd was behind us. I noticed now that the corporate sponsors were looking at me and saying, hey, we want to be a part of this. And at that point, I decided to convert the car more and more to circuit racing, and that was where the circuit racing life just took off for us.
Yeah.
So it was a big transition, but a good one, very good one.
So you've been into cars then since you were younger, right? In your teens, I presume.
Absolutely.
All right, and you got into Mail Park and starting the shipping to fund your racing.
Absolutely.
All right, and you said you started to drive for Mitsubishi first.
Yes.
Okay, cool. So what we want to know is well, I don't know if that question should be asked so soon, but we were talking off camera and we were asking what was one of your biggest crashes like, and if you'd be so kind to share that to the camera before we forget.
So thinking about all the crashes I've had some major ones. A lot of them have been in circuit racing. I remember even rallying back in the earlier days of rallying. I was now rallying for Christopher Issa with Motor Sales, which was Mitsubishi. And he had given me an Evolution 1. And I'm now basically trying to win this particular end of year rally, which was the biggest event for the year, the Issa Rally. And I remember Chris coming to me and saying, listen, man, you're only a couple seconds behind Jeffrey Panton. You have to do what it takes. And at that point now I'm saying, all right, I have to drive like this. There's no tomorrow. We came around a corner and we clipped a stone and the car rolled 7 times. We actually hit a fence and the fence then dropped back on the ground and the whole car was crushed. I mean, and I had cuts all over me. I was sitting in the car, I was bleeding, and I'm sitting there, oh my goodness, I can't believe that I've mashed up Mr. Issa's car. And I'm saying to myself, all right, is my career finished? But I think that the dedication that I had to motor racing, the dedication that I had to my sponsors, that everybody now supported me and said, all right, let's get him back in another car. And again, as I was saying to you, is that I've been very fortunate along my ride to be able to have people that would want to support me. And even though I might have had a big crash, to go out there now and just continue to want to see me in a race car. And after racing with Mitsubishi, now I then got into Audi with Adam Stewart, and that's a whole nother story again. And I've had some major crashes in the Audi also. So much so that I had one where I went to the hospital and I just had some numbness in my back and I didn't understand why. After doing the X-ray, the last bone in your spine, I think they call it the coccyx bone, and that one was actually broken off. So it's still not there.
All right, that's an interesting story. We're happy you were able to bounce back from that, and not let that shatter your dreams of finishing, and pursuing your racing career to the extent that you have it now.
Absolutely.
The reason why I asked though is because me as a car enthusiast myself, and I have a lot of friends that would probably think about getting into racing, but there's a fear factor in it. right? There's a fear factor of crashing. There's a fear factor of how severe will that crash be, and for most people, it's just a fear of starting, right? But would you recommend and what age do you think is too late?
So that's one of the reasons why I got my son into racing proper race go-karts at the age of 5. And I knew that him, just like myself, going around and watching his father and his grandfather, just like I did, racing cars at a tender age, what is going to happen is that you're going to now start to drive on the streets like a madman. And I can tell you that, to be honest with you, I'm lucky to be alive. And I think a lot of that has to stem with we don't have the amount of cars that we have on the road today. So, when I think of driving as fast as I did and as crazy as I did, I think was very lucky that the amount of vehicles that were on the road. And now when you think of it today, it's actually frightening because you have all of these youngsters that are going out there and they're getting these fast cars and they're driving like mad people on the road. And you see some seriously crazy accidents happening all over Jamaica, right? And it's a way of venting your frustrations by going out and getting yourself now into a race car. Because remember now we put on the roll cage, we put on the safety equipment, the helmets, and all of those things now are in case you do crash, that you're not seriously injured. And to think of where these cars have come. I mean, again, we look at that crash. I mean, if you guys have ever seen pictures of the car was absolutely totally demolished. You would walk up to the car and say, well, there's no way I could even be alive. I remember my daughter and my wife coming up to the car and they were bawling. Everybody was there crying outside of the car because they thought that, okay, I didn't get out of the car, so therefore now the more likely that I'm dead, right? Of course, now they see the ambulance, they see me come out, they see me putting me on a stretcher. Now they're thinking the worst. And to think that I was actually able to walk out of there at the end of the day, it was quite. It would come back to how the safety of the cars are today. So I would definitely recommend to everybody that if you have the wherewithal and you have the drive, yeah, definitely get into some form of motor racing.
And where would you start? Where do you start?
So again, the great thing about motor racing is that there are several different genres of the sport. There's the drag racing, there's the circuit racing, rallying. There's no drifting that has now taken on to another level also. So you have all of these things that are going on. Which one do you love? And then at that point now you join that club. And then once you join that club, now you get involved in the club. You get involved with everybody else around. And you kind of see what everybody is driving, who's driving well. Is it a Toyota? Is it a Honda? Is it a Civic? What is carrying the swing? And then you now start to build or buy a car that will help you in that field. That's I think that's the way to go.
All right. So you were bouncing around in terms of moving around when you were before you got in, right? You were starting mail pack and your
So
mom
really not mail pack. It was a sort of.
a sort of mail pack. So your mom
I don't want them looking for me.
Yeah. So your mom being Miss Jamaica and your dad being the man behind Gore Homes.
Yes.
So you had, I would say, pretty big shoes to fill.
Yes.
Celebrity family, as I mentioned earlier. Were they aware of your dream, your passion of racing?
My father saw it, and my father tried to talk me out of it many, many times. He said that motor racing was going to break me, and it was going to cause me to go broke. He himself many times tried to further his career and not getting any sponsorship back then, and it was all coming out of his own pocket. So he knew the expense that motor racing comes with. But I was there to say to him, said, listen, if I got sponsors to pay for my car, then why not? And I remember my first car that I got, I finally worked up enough money. It was $200,000 back then. It was like, wow, it was a lot of money. And I actually even had somebody give me terms on the car. So I still owed on the car, and I'm going out there racing it. But one of the things is that I went to 52 people that I knew, and I said to them, give me $5,000. And they were like, oh, $5,000, that's all you want? I said, yeah, man, I'm going to put your sticker on your car. Some of them actually said, no, man, don't even bother, put the sticker, they gave me the $5,000. 52 times $5,000, add it up. It paid for my car, pay for my tires, pay for my gas, pay for everything. Because I went and I had to think now outside of the box. And what happens a lot is that I see a lot of guys that come now and say, boy, I'm going to go ask Taya Warehouse for $1 million. Well, who are you?
Yeah.
You're John Brown. You know, you're going to have that, you're going to send it that proposal and they're going to look and go, I never heard this, man. And they're going to just kind of throw it away. So it is that sort of thing, is that it's more to go friends, family, people you know, ask something small, and then you grow from there. I'll take, for instance, Sherwin-Williams. I went to Sherwin-Williams one day and I said, listen, all I want is paint for my car. That's all I want. And they said, that's all you want. I said, yes, that nothing else. And I said, okay. All right, so what do we get out of it? And I said, listen, man, by the time I'm finished, you will really and truly love what I've done for you. Every time I went on TV, every time I was in the radio, I always said, boy, Sherwin-Williams, you're the best, man. Best in a finish. Guess what? That slogan took off.
Yeah.
And it was now fastest in a finish, Sherwin-Williams, because I actually made the slogan.
The slogan.
I'll tell you another slogan that I came up with. The unbeatable slogan for ATL. They use it all over.
Yeah.
And I was the one that came up with that.
Hollywood Gore.
I was saying to them, so listen, man, when you come and race the Audi, we're unbeatable. And it just took off from there. So, yeah.
That's good. The reason why I asked, though, if your parents were aware, is because I want to know some of the biggest challenges you faced with getting into racing and some of the biggest challenges throughout your career in total.
So when you say challenges, again, I'll come back to me being very fortunate, is that if I came to a friend or some part of the family and I said, hey, this is my dream, this is what I want you to do, they were always supportive. Now, I wouldn't say that it was monetary, but it would be so interesting, even probably for you, where you find that that uncle might know somebody that owns an auto part shop, or might know somebody in, say, Wisinko, that he can now go and say, hey, my nephew here, he wants to get into motor racing. What can you do for him? So it's very, very interesting, especially in Jamaica, is who you know. Right? And I mean, it's been like that for even in business and whatever you do in life, it's who you know, especially in Jamaica. And you can go so far just by just putting out the word, just by saying, hey, this is what I want to do. Can you help? So again, you might not be asking your uncle, auntie, brother, sister to come up with the money, but you might just be saying, who do you think you know that would be interested? And I tell you, you'll be shocked. And that's exactly what I did. I just asked a lot of people. I mean, even job hunting today, it says somebody will come to me and says, boy, Doug, I want a job in such and such. I said, listen, man, ask 10 people, 2 will respond.
Yeah.
I said, because the more feelers that you put out, the better off you are.
Because you make them, the more aware you make them of something, the more times they hear it, the more interested they'll become.
Yeah.
True. I saw something referring to that this morning, out of, it's a business related question. Out of every 100 people, only one person is ready to buy or ready to indulge.
True.
But the where your work comes in that is not just taking the one person that's ready to buy or ready to indulge and say, okay, I'm working with you. Where the growth comes in for you is where you say, okay, how can I get these 99 others to be interested? How can I get them to indulge?
That's right.
And it works hand in hand with what you just said.
Absolutely. 100%.
It's funny how the world works, It's really, really funny.
Yeah.
So tell us now, where did the name Hollywood come from? Because most people hear Doug Hollywood Gore and think you're a big movie actor
Yes.
from Los Angeles.
I've been asked about that many times. One of the biggest.
Afternoon, guys.
Guys. Chavez is here now.
Yeah, man, bless him.
Late, man,
Yes.
Oh, go on.
Bro.
Yeah,
My brother there,
Late, how long gonna start?
Patrice, time check.
It's on? This on? 20 minutes? I'm gonna miss the whole of the pod. Text me up now. Before we're there now.
All right, so we'll go through all that,
Yeah.
Him tell about one of the biggest crashes. So
Biggest crashes?
Yeah.
You crash?
Yeah.
I've had many.
Racing man, Yeah, so currently we're missing him. What's the bone called? I don't remember what's the bone called.
Or the coccyx bone,
The
I think
coccyx
is that's
bone.
what this is
Nothing
last,
is
No,
back.
sir, you have
last
bone
bone.
like that, you know.
Yeah.
You have bone like that.
Yeah,
The very last little one down at the bottom.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so he
Look like the
survived that
finger.
terrible crash.
Yeah.
He told us, the background. He told us about his endeavors from how he got into racing, etc.
Yeah.
So it's been fun.
Yeah, no, I want to ask you too. But I see I ask him
Yeah,
about Hollywood.
yeah,
So ask
the
him about
Hollywood.
Hollywood first.
Yeah.
And then me I gotta ask him the question I want to ask him.
All right.
All right.
know.
So yeah, where did the name Hollywood come from?
So we're in this event, and I'm racing like a bat out of hell. Out of the corner of my eye, I see a rim and a tire pass me.
Pass your face.
Pass the car, and it's
Yeah.
now rolling down the road. And I look up in my rearview mirror and I say, my God, which car that come off of? And I'm looking at now at all the other guys that I'm racing against, and I'm saying, and I'm driving, and I'm driving, and I'm just into myself as my God, and I just see this rim and tire bouncing off into the horizon. Anyway, I come around the finish line, and as I pass the finish line, now the car does a doof
Yeah, your car.
and drop to the side.
It was your car.
Oh my God.
Yo,
So I said, wait. And I see the crowd up on the hill and everybody is going crazy because they could not believe that I
Yeah.
finished the race on 3 wheels.
That was something
And
straight out of
everybody is
Hollywood.
just coming
So
like
wait,
crazy.
is that thing because I see this in movies and I see it's like
That's why it's
cartoons
Hollywood.
especially,
Yeah.
right? So it's like, oh, you do that, like, to keep the car on the. Is it that?
So again, I didn't even know that it was gone, right? So
Okay.
I'm just driving as fast as I could.
Mm-hmm.
And I was driving so quickly that, and as I said, it was basically almost at the end of the race.
Yeah.
Jump out of the car, and it was always like I always wanted to be on TV, right? And I'm saying
Yeah.
to myself, I hope they caught it. So I
They
see the
caught it?
guys at CVM over
Yeah.
there. So I walk up to the guy, Winston Casanova, and I said,
Yeah.
"Hey, Mr. Casanova, did you see me with the racing with the 3 wheels?" So he
Yeah.
says, "Yeah." So I said, "You caught it on film?"
Yeah.
So he look at the guy and says, "You catch it?" He said, "Yeah."
Yeah.
So I said, "So will I be on TV on Monday
Yeah.
on the sports news?"
Yeah.
So he says, "Hold on, man. I don't understand this."
Yeah.
So what do you think this is? Hollywood?
Yeah.
So anyway, I left and I'm like, boy, I just hope that they put it on. Anyway, I'm sitting in front of the TV, and sure enough, Winston Casanova comes on. He says, and there was a racing event, and boy, straight out of Hollywood is Doug
Yeah.
Gore driving on 3 wheels.
Yeah.
And boy, the name just stopped.
Doug Hollywood.
It
Doug
just
Hollywood,
stopped.
the big
Everybody
man.
just realized, that, yeah, this is it.
Yeah. So in terms of like, I know you talk about him upbringing already, right? But like, you look like a man who used to play like Gran Turismo, Need for Speed, them thing there. You know?
Actually not.
Not?
Yeah,
I can't believe it.
actually not.
I can't believe that.
So remember, I'm a slightly older generation than you guys.
Oh. But even though, cause you have some man, and I don't know your age, you know, but like,
Yes.
you have man who play
Oh,
them
they
thing
live
right
on
now.
it,
They
yeah,
live on it right now, you know?
So like my son, it's interesting that you brought up this. My son came down to Barbados just a couple months back, and we went and bought a Radical, which was these new single-seater cars. And this is like the top form of racing in the whole of the Caribbean.
Yeah.
And I said that I wanted to see if my son, at the age of 17, had what it took
So,
to go and race against the big guns.
yeah.
We arrive in Barbados, we rent the car first, and I said to him, I says, go out on the track. Anyway, we bring down a coach all the way from England. We fly him in, and he's a driver's coach. He jumps in the car with my son Tommy, takes a few laps, and he jumps out and he goes to the other guys that are there and he says, where do you get this guy from?
Yeah.
Where do you get this little youth from?
Yeah.
And he says, oh, he's
Gran
from Jamaica and
Turismo.
everything like that. And he's like, so
Yeah.
how am so good on this track? I mean, has he ever driven here before? No. Has he ever driven this kind of car before? No.
No.
And it was all off of a simulator. On like
Simulator.
a Gran Turismo.
Yeah.
So he was able to drive that car on that track and just go there and just put a lot of hours in his little seat and his little steering wheel and draw gear, and he was able to go down to Barbados and just right there almost set the track record. So it was impressive.
So is it that you live overseas or you live in Jamaica?
In Montego Bay.
You live in Montego Bay? Okay, but you have like, you're overseas mostly and stuff like that?
No.
Not really, most
This
of
is
Jamaica?
home, his home.
Because you know this Formula One, because you do rally and you do circuits,
Circuit
right?
racing.
Yeah.
But what's the difference between rally circuit racing and Formula One?
All right, so Formula One would be like the top echelon of racing.
Yeah.
And to get there is many, many different things. Of course, is luck and money. And you look at a person like a Lewis Hamilton. He got lucky. being able to now have a Mercedes now grasp him and grab
Yeah.
him. I can now talk to about 2 youngsters that are Caribbean oriented, and that's Zane Maloney coming out of Barbados. He's now driving in Formula 2 and could be in Formula 1 next year.
Oh, so you have Formula 2 and Formula 1. I
Yeah,
never
so
know you had Formula 2.
You have 4,
Yeah,
3,
yeah.
2, 1.
It's like football. You have to go through the phases of the.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then you reach 1 and you stay in 1.
That's right, yeah.
Okay.
And then there's a Jamaican that is actually just finished his go-karting and has now been signed by Mercedes, just like how Lewis Hamilton.
Yeah.
And that is going to be interesting because his name is Alex Powell.
F1 is mostly like the go-kart type of
Type,
cars.
yeah.
Yeah, those kind of cars that will go
open
open
wheel.
wheel.
Open wheel
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
and then rally is
That's on dirt mostly.
that's on dirt.
Yeah.
And
Okay,
you'd have
and
be
then
like your
Four-wheel
hatchback
drive.
cars.
That's
Four-wheel
what cars. I see
drives.
those. And then the circuit would have be on the
Track.
On
The track, like
yeah,
the-
like a Dover,
like
like
a-
Jamwest and that sort of thing. So.
The Billionaire Podcast, biggest podcast. Y'all know the vibe, right? Be sure to join the Learn and Earn to learn how to trade the currency market, to learn how to trade currencies, stocks, cryptos, whatever it is. Join the Learn and Earn. If you want to actually get funded also, if you want to start, you don't have the capital to start, and you want to get funded, capital to trade, capital to manage, you're getting funded up to $3 million US on Pro Traders Fund. So sign up on protradersfund.com, www.protradersfund.com. Sign up now, get funded, get capital to trade, learn and earn, join the Learn and Earn to learn my exact strategy to trade the currency market, to trade other markets. We have a ton of people in the Learn and Earn, learning, growing, trading, making money on a day-to-day basis. Y'all know the vibe, super blessed. Would it be a drum race though? It wouldn't be like the circuit, you know, like NASCAR?
So Jamwest
No,
now has 2 tracks.
NASCAR is a different thing as
Yeah,
well, too.
because NASCAR is just
Oval.
oval. It's just an oval.
So NASCAR, what would they classify NASCAR as?
NASCAR.
So NASCAR is
So
like
NASCAR
a
is
next
another
sport.
one, yeah.
So that's a next sport. So you have F1.
So we were talking about it today, and he was saying, suppose he wanted to get involved in motor racing.
Yeah, because he does a lot. Yes, what are you studying in school again?
Mechanical engineering.
Mechanical
good.
engineering. So funny enough. So I love him. He's my little bro, you know. Right? Look at this. The man love cars. I love cars too. And it's like I always want that person that I could have probably build out some stuff with.
Yes.
So I can build like, say for instance, we buy, we were talking about the other day, say for instance, we buy 2 probably 1990 BMW and we say, all right, we're going to fix it up.
Yes. Trick
And
it
we're going
out.
to trick it out and do some racing.
True.
Racing with it, or some other cars, you know, like, you know. So we're thinking about that type of stuff, you know. So I don't know if you do them thing there
So
too.
that's what I was saying to him is that figure out the genre of the sport that he wants. Does he want to go into drag racing? Does he want to
Yeah.
go into circuit?
I
Rally?
feel like drag racing give me that
drifting.
fast X or Fast and the Furious vibe.
Yes.
Yeah, because 10 seconds or less.
10
The goal
seconds
of
or
drag
less.
racing, is
But
a
we
build a
couldn't-
sub 10.
We couldn't do a 1990 build out for that.
Of
I
course.
mean, of course, yeah.
Okay, that's
Follow
cool.
it out, you build an engine, you put in the car that ran the best time at Vernam the other day in Drag Rivals.
Yeah.
I don't remember
8
exactly what
seconds.
car it was. It
It
was
was a Pulsar, I think.
I think so. But it was fully built. Nothing in that car is from that car.
Yeah.
It's
No.
fully
What type
built.
of car is it?
I can't remember.
I
Can't
think
remember what
it was
type
a
of car
Nissan
it was.
Pulsar, but it was.
I wish
Can't
Nick Lou was
remember.
on the pod, right
Yeah.
now with it.
Nick Lou was there.
Nick Lou.
Nick Lou's car ran in the most recent drag
He
rivals.
ran
Nick Lou
11
came second. Yeah, he came second. He came second to Bowler's G80.
Yeah.
The Bowlers are the top echelon for BMW out here. So when you talk about building BMWs, you talk about the Bowlers.
But Nick
So-
Lou doing a lot with his right now. Too,
And Nick Lou, we need you on the pod because you need to tell me what you did to that M340 to make it so fast. You say you're not running NAS and you say you're not running
By the
over
way, Nick,
600.
I'm calling you what again?
yeah.
See this?
Because
See
guess
that?
what?
See this? See this? All right, Nick. All right.
You see the audio outside?
All right, Nick. Hollywood on the
done,
plate, Nick. All right.
Yeah.
So yeah, Vijay's G80 M3 ran I can't remember if it was sub 10. If it was sub 10, it was like 998. But if it was over 10, it was like 10.2. So it was really close. They build really good cars. So that's drag racing. They don't do anything like IndyCar out here. No, they don't do anything like IndyCar is another one. So you have drag racing, NASCAR, circuit racing, F1 and IndyCar. IndyCar is like Indy 500, the Indianapolis 500.
So it's just cars they touch. You don't touch like bikes and stuff like that
No,
too.
no. I've had my fair share of.
Like dangerous.
Oh, yeah.
Believe.
This is the board one we don't know about.
Yeah.
I wonder if
I remember one day when I had a motorbike,
Yeah.
a friend of mine gave me one, and I was showing off now and doing wheelies. And I came up to a corner, and I was in the wheelie, and I noticed now that the corner, is turning, and there was a hole for dirt right there. And I said to myself, something you get.
Hey.
When I dropped,
Yeah.
there was a 200-foot precipice over on the left-hand side. I don't think even today they ever found the seat.
Off the bike.
No. And when I took my pupulik drop, and all I heard behind me was just the bike going tu 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 tu. And when that bike landed on top of me, and the bike tire is going right behind, I remember lifting off the bike.
Yeah.
And I said to myself, never
Never
ever again was that going to catch me.
Hey, you see the thing about bikes kind of funny still because I know a guy that him ride hard, bro, and he was riding an RR. And then, well, most bike riders, they said that if they're going to crash, they would rather speed up the bike and make it go faster because they don't want to feel anything.
Oh, wow.
That's what most of them say, But this guy now is a situation where him riding a bike, innocently just riding, and a car hit him up the bike. Him alive, but him kind of broke up, foot them broke, hand them broke. Him unconscious, like him eyes them closed, but him can hear everything.
Yes.
So you ever watch Fridays?
No.
You ever watch Fridays, like the movie with Chris Tucker and Ice Cube? You
Like
never
the
watch
movie I
Fridays?
always talk about?
Yeah, you never watch
Yeah,
Fridays?
I never got
You
a
have
chance
to
to
watch
watch it.
Fridays.
Yeah?
Come on, there's no way.
This man loves this movie, This man been
Bro,
talking about
you
this
have to
movie
go and
for
watch
so
Fridays.
long.
Like, so like when Day, I think it was Day that knocked the guy out, or somebody knocked somebody out. Oh yeah, Ice Cube knocked Day out, and Day was on the ground, and then the madman came and was taking out the stuff out of his pockets. You get me? So it's a situation like this where the bike crashed. He was unconscious, like in terms of his eyes closed, but he might hear everything.
Yeah.
And then him just hear, take him phone.
Yeah.
Yo, take off him shoes.
Yeah.
You get me? Check if him have the
So
money in
we
his
come
pocket.
back to the same thing about motor racing here and bike racing.
Yeah.
All right, so you just like you said, boy, you have all these guys that them drive hard on motorbike on the road. And I think you could probably take up 5 of the guys that you've seen riding motorbikes, and you say, man, this guy can ride. You see them go to Dover, then come last.
Come last.
Yeah, man.
Why? Why you say that though?
Because riding on the road and wap, and you go down
It's two
a little
different
straight away,
Yeah.
and then
Facts.
driving around on a circuit.
The
fast,
circuit is totally different.
So
And
wait, what
and
does it
it
take?
comes same into motor racing.
So
You
what
have
does
some
it?
guys that they're good at just driving really, really fast on the road.
Yeah.
But if they were ever to go to like a Dover jam,
Lose.
That's why they say straight roads are for fast cars and corners are for fast drivers
Or for fast drivers or skill drivers.
or skilled drivers.
Skilled
Yeah,
drivers.
because the circuit is, you have to know the corners, you have to know the depth
You have
of
to have
the
a lot
corner.
of experience with it.
Yeah, you have to know when to brake, how much braking to give it, to execute with the
there's a
corner
lot
with
of
the most
practicing.
speed.
having driven literally all forms of motorsport, I would definitely say that rally drivers have the most
Skill.
guts and the most skill.
Yeah.
Rally is the
100%.
the dirt.
Yeah, and they hardly brake.
Hey,
It's a full speed race.
Hey, I was watching. I was on Instagram the other day, and there was a meme. Well, this guy is a Jamaica. They're doing rally in Jamaica, right? And the car was legit flying. And they made a meme out of it, saying like the car turned into a bird, turned into a plane.
Yeah, man.
And never.
I have some
came-
pictures I can show you.
Yeah, we need to see them. We need to see them.
Yes.
So, in terms of like your journey, like what is your overall goal for all of this that you're doing?
So I've been doing it for such a long time, and then of course it's now time for my son. It is now-
So you're
it is
bringing
now
him
getting-
into it.
Yeah.
No.
And as I said, we're running the Caribbean Championship with him.
Yeah.
He's going to Guyana, Barbados, Trinidad, and a Jamaican that is racing.
He's
there.
18, by the way.
18.
So yeah, so
You're 18.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's 18 as well.
hey, there you go.
Good.
So of course it's ticking over in your brain.
Yeah.
They might buy an M3 December, no?
Yes.
I was gonna ask him, because remember we were talking about building the cars December. I was gonna ask him if like what car would you buy to build? Like
But
say
you're building out something.
to do what?
Not circuit. Not
Street
circuit.
racing,
Street racing.
probably.
Street race.
I feel like
Street
street
racing.
racing.
Not street racing.
Oh,
Government.
boy.
Go
Not
on.
street
Better edit
racing.
that part.
Not street racing.
Yeah.
Racing at Vernon. Drag racing against Nick
But
Lou.
like example, say for instance, we'll pull up on Nick Lou and Nick Lou
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
we're like, Nick, that's
Ready for
slow.
you.
That's
Yeah,
slow.
Nick.
We're not even
Roller
going to tell him
that
say we're
can't
ready for
drive.
you. We just say, that's slow.
Roller. And him say, all right,
You know?
put the power where I'm out there.
Yeah.
I will can run left, Nick.
True.
Yeah, so
Right,
how
so
you
wait-
that build?
how
How
you
you
go
that build
about
for
it?
that?
Well, the new M4s will actually do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right out, almost right out
The
to the park.
G82s, yeah. But I mean, we're talking about building.
So remember, if you're building, which is exactly what Nick has started to do, is that he does his research just like yourself. I mean, you're doing your studies, and then you find out now what works for this car
Mm-hmm.
and any car that you find.
Yeah.
And then once you find out what works now and what you want to achieve, and then you go on these blogs and you just listen.
Just
Yeah,
listen.
yeah.
And everybody knows, say, hey, if you put on this exhaust,
Mm-hmm.
the exhaust will give you X.
Mm-hmm.
If you change this turbo, this will do the job.
Mm-hmm.
And then you go for according like that.
Yeah.
Even the car that I have outside, the RS7, I went to Audi Sport and I said to them, hey, I want a tune. And they said, all right, even before the car came. And when I got the car, I was like, all right, this is nice. This feels good. And then Nick and I went and did like a battle, and then
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember
I
that.
saw Bowler come out to the car with a laptop. And
Yeah.
I said,
Yup.
oh boy,
Yup.
this looked like a serious setup going on
Yup.
there.
Yeah.
So he called me out that time. But since then, I've actually gone now and actually gotten another tune
Mm-hmm.
by a different company.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I can tell you that the car is about 750 horsepower.
And we can push it to more though.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
We can with bolt-ons, we can push it to more.
Oh, yes.
Because we
Plenty.
can put in some cool air intakes for you. We
Yeah.
can give you intercooler.
Used to
so-
say, "Ma, pay attention in school." You see that?
Bro, when the RS7 came on the island, I was like, oh my God, who really put that out there
yours?
before me?
That's yours?
I was like, who put that
That's the
out
only one
there
out there?
before
That's the only
me?
one out
In
there?
the Caribbean.
In the
We
Caribbean.
need to see that. We can get some like
RS7.
videos
Is it
and
a
stuff from it.
Sportback?
Yes.
It's a Sportback. Oh my, bro,
we
Chavez,
need to
it's
see
a
that. We need
beast,
to see
bro.
that.
It's a
Proper.
beast. Audi did a really
I might
good
become an
job.
Audi lover again.
Audi did a really good job on the RS7. I'm not gonna lie, they did
Yeah,
a
they
really,
really
good
did.
job.
When I think of, I tell people, I says, boy, why did you choose Audi? And I said that I think I got the best of all worlds as far as a European car.
Mm-hmm.
When you drive a BMW and you drive on the road, the car is very stiff. You feel almost everything. If you drive over,
That's what I don't like
pebble,
about BMWs, you know, like
if you drive
feel
over a pebble on
That's
the
why
road,
I'm
you're going to feel it.
gonna change my sus system. I'm gonna change my suspension on mine.
Yeah, man, you feel everything. So yes, it's supposedly the ultimate driving car. But in Jamaica, where our roads stay so,
Mm-hmm.
and then we have all these potholes. I mean, you lick a pothole in BMW and you think that the whole dashboard can come off.
Yeah, for real, for real.
And when you think of now like a Benz now with the raw power,
Mm-hmm.
and how could I get a car? And maybe I shouldn't say this on the blog, but
No, say it.
I can do 300 kilometers an hour with that car outside on the highway.
Yeah.
And I can also have my entire family, 5 people in the car, just cruising
All
around.
comfortable
Yeah,
because the
everybody's
seats are comfortable
Yeah.
and the
So
technological
I just think that
advancement
I have
inside.
the best of all worlds with that car outside.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you don't like Benz at all?
Well, when you said don't like, again, we come back to the same thing that why I chose Audi is that I
Yeah.
thought it was the best of both worlds.
Yeah, you still think it is?
Mercedes-Benz is a very raw car,
Yeah.
especially their sports cars.
That's why I like
Most
them.
of them
Them
are
rough.
rear-wheel drive,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and most of them have like a bag of power. And again, we come back down to, do you want to drive with the white knuckle driving, especially
Yeah.
in this day and age?
The white knuckle meaning? Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Driving on the road, you decide, boy, you're going to have a little spirited drive.
Yeah.
And it becomes now a white knuckle drive because you have to be like so attentive. You have to be like, boy, you're watching
It's
everything.
powerful. It's powerful
Yeah.
for real. It's
Yeah,
powerful
and
for
you
real.
know that car can snap with you at any given moment. I'll tell you something. I was driving behind 2 BMW M4s on the highway,
The braking system, amazing.
and I'm watching the 2 guys actually race each other.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting in the car.
Plug
and
this into charge.
my
for me.
wife is saying to me, "Why are you staying behind them?"
Yeah.
So I said, "No, man, I'm going to watch them for a little."
That is the Benz, the
the
Benz.
M4s.
No, 2 BMWs,
M4,
2
2
M4s. And while they're driving, and I say to myself, all right, I think it's about time. I go up there now and I start to pressure them.
Yeah.
See the 2 guys lift up their head and then looking in the rear mirror. You see, as I go around the first corner and the back of the BMW just goes up and twitch,
Because a rear wheel.
then goes on step off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
That
then
time I
relax.
just pass them and go, bye-bye.
Yeah.
Okay, okay,
Never
so,
to see them again.
so the Audi has better handling, you're saying then?
That's why I say for the four-wheel drive, their quattro system is phenomenal.
The best.
Absolutely
The
phenomenal.
best. I
They know
think
what
if
they're
Audi
doing.
starts making 4x4s, they will take over the game with
Yeah,
that.
man, they're awesome.
Because the quattro system they have in play, and even their SUVs outperform a lot of pickup trucks.
You know what I want to ask you though? Well, I've had great experiences and I have really bad experiences with cars in terms of most of the cars that I buy, it's like a house price,
Yes.
right? And then imagine you buy a house and then you lose $7 to $8 million in value after the first year, right? That don't really make too much. So it's not really motivating, especially in Jamaica doing that, right?
Right.
So what would be your advice for a young person buying or getting into cars? What would be the best options, the best method to actually
Do your
do it?
research on the specific model that you're looking for. Right. So I'm an Audi
What if you
man.
don't know the model at all?
No, I'll tell you. Like I'm an Audi man, and I realized that in 2012 and 2013, those cars were shit.
Yeah.
I don't know why. What happened in those 2 years? But the car engines burnt oil. They give electrical problems. And then it's the same with some of the BMWs. You have some of the 3 Series that, listen, man, you see them, you will see more BMWs on the back of a wrecker than any other car in Jamaica.
Yeah.
It's true. Yeah, man,
That's why you
it's
have to
true.
know which one
the
you have.
the realest thing. And so therefore, no, I can't say to you, boy, go out there and buy a BMW, but you have to know which one to buy. And you say to yourself, okay, this particular model, all right, it has all what I want. And then you're reading up about it and saying, okay, and it has the least amount of problems.
Yeah. Because even I know that BMWs give problems typically. So when I made my decision and said that okay, an M3 is what I want,
Right.
I looked at the only maintenance issue there was going to be, and it's more of preventing it before it happens. With the S55 engine in the M3 and M4s, the only issue that they will have a spun crank hub after a certain amount of miles because of the way they made it. They made it in a 3-piece sprocket,
Yes.
right? It's a 3-part setup. So after a while, there is a coating on the part that's connected to the pulley, and after a few miles, that wears down. Right, so the only thing you'd have to do with an S55 engine, if it's happened already, you replace it. If not, you just upgrade it to prevent it.
Yeah.
You just buy a single piece, one construction, a single piece crank hub, and you're set. There's no other problem you'd have to worry about.
Right. So again, you're doing your background checks, which is important. That's excellent.
Mechanic, you know.
So he knows what he's doing.
I know. So
Stick with you.
So the plan we're gonna have like this massive compound
Yes.
full.
with just different exotic things.
Full.
You know, that's the plan. And we just know how to sort out. We need to sort out. We're getting new stuff as we wish.
Yes.
We're just having fun. That's the life like I see for myself.
You know the Triple F collection?
Yes. That's wicked. Yeah.
That's a
Exciting.
vibe.
Yeah.
That's a vibe. Yeah, that's a vibe.
So, because we don't done it, you know, because you're still not giving the exact method and tip. So, if you're picking among the 3 Audi,
Yeah.
well, I can put Volkswagen in it as well too. But people don't really buy too much.
Volkswagen own the whole of them still.
Yeah, them all, but people. That's the funny thing. People don't really buy Volkswagen. They buy the Audi.
And I
the
pity
Porsche
them
and all
also
those.
Volkswagen own
All of them. Yeah. Alright, so
Lamborghini, the whole lot.
Bugatti,
Everyone.
Volkswagen own all.
So choosing between, for example, Jamaica and internationally. Whether in America, you in England or some other part of the world. So Jamaica, England, America. If you're supposed to choose 3 vehicles starting out, you're probably 20. And you have the money.
Yes.
What 3 you would pick from each area? So that you can get the best resale value, the best experience with the vehicle.
Yes.
And also the least amount of headache. Because nobody likes
So
headaches.
as far as a driver is concerned, buy a rear-wheel drive vehicle.
Always buy a rear-wheel drive vehicle.
For one of them.
Wait.
At least, because
Now,
rear-wheel
I'm
drive
taking
is a
out
lot
my
of fun, you
notepad.
know.
I'm taking out my notepad.
Rear-wheel drive is a lot of fun.
Yeah, you're going to have,
Yeah.
and you're going to get someone a really nice experience.
Mm-hmm.
Then you
Yeah.
want the best four-wheel drive.
Yeah.
Again, I think
And
has the
Audi,
best four-wheel drive.
definitely.
And then you're going to want to maybe probably have a really sweet SUV that you can drive around in comfort.
Yeah.
I think that is probably where that Benz you're talking about.
Yeah.
They make
Yeah.
the sweetest SUV.
In terms of SUVs, I was doing my research on them the other day because after an M3, an SUV is what I definitely want. The best bang for buck SUV there is in the world today is the Porsche Cayenne Turbo GT. It is the 2024 one run the fastest time on the Nürburgring.
Yeah.
So the only competition it had in the 2023 was the Lamborghini Urus, but in 2024 they overtook them.
Yeah. There's
Because
two of them here in Ireland.
because Porsche, they found the perfect balance in comfort inside of them are amazing. The ride on the suspension is
My wife
amazing.
owns a Macan.
A Macan.
Macan, sorry.
Yeah.
And I can tell you that when I first got the car, I was so amazed at how this car handled.
Porsche did
it
a
was good, it was
really
good.
good
Like,
job
wow.
on the SUVs.
And I just said to myself, boy, if I could get the turbo model in this, this is like the ultimate.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really, really, really a sweet car.
I rarely see people like you get those cars. I rarely see people like do anything to them.
Buy and
don't
drive.
get
It's just
Buy
buy
and
and drive.
drive.
And that's the next thing that we talk about. We talk about, okay, hotting up this car and that car and so on. And after a while, you're going to now go to the point where it's not going to be fun to drive anymore. Remember that.
Yeah.
Why?
The more stuff that you put in it to make it fast,
Scary. It
no,
starts scary yourself.
it now becomes a weekend warrior.
Mm-hmm.
It's not nice to drive around every day.
Oh,
And that's
so
one of the
it's like-
reasons why even the car outside, I basically kept it just as a tune. You understand? I didn't go now and put on the big turbo and the big intercooler.
yeah.
Because what will happen now is that you're driving and you press the gas in the car.
Gone.
Like you pour water on a puss.
Yeah.
You don't want that kind of car to drive around every day.
Yeah.
You want
Yeah.
a car that, boy, if you put on your foot, it answer. But then you can sit down there and you can take your grandmother to the supermarket if you want. And she would have no clue that there is 700 odd horsepower under your foot.
Example.
So I think that is the key.
All right, you know M God, right?
Yes.
Yeah, M God. Him have a, I don't even know which one of the BMWs him have.
What, the blue one?
The blue one. I
It's
don't
an
know.
M4.
The M4.
Wide body, yeah. And him have another one coming in.
can't
Him have a
test the
CSL
cars.
coming.
Can't test you out there, so.
M God will calling you out too, you know.
No, he knows better.
M God man say you know it going. M God man say you know how it go.
You know
Alright.
better, you know better.
Him know better.
If know better.
Now, he does have a few cars that could, yes.
Yeah.
I realize him have a lot of time car them overseas.
Overseas, yeah.
But him a bringing some stuff though.
I think him have an M4 CSL, one of the new ones on the way.
Yeah.
Might have to watch out for that one. There's still CSL.
Man start first, you know. Your first time, my first on the pod, you know what you
Well,
do.
Yeah.
not really separate. I mean, it depends on where we're going to go.
Yeah.
Because
True.
I could also
You
tell
still
him, I
beat
said,
him.
True.
let us go from toll to toll.
Yeah.
I know, say, nah, see me.
Yeah, true.
That's a given.
True.
No, if you
God,
want to go down
you heard
one
it here
traffic light to one
first.
traffic light. No,
Yeah.
that's another
I want
thing.
to that.
Yeah,
You know?
that's two different things.
So, like, myself, right? Myself now. This year, like, to the end of this year, that's how we're planning out and stuff, you know. So, we're planning to get some stuff, like some crazy stuff,
Yeah.
you know? So, that's why we've asking you right now, because I have my notes and stuff, you know? So, we're continuing, because you're trying to move away from the convoy, you know? So, we do, you say, you just give us some basic specs. Rear-wheel drive, best four-wheel, get a SUV.
Yes,
So, these are the features.
criteria.
But which specific cars we're looking at, the pricing,
So, of course,
and the locations.
We're going back into the same thing of money is everything, right?
Yeah,
And money can buy you whatever you want.
yeah.
So you can get the ultimate of each if you had the money. So
And what would be the ultimate of each?
and money is not a problem.
No problem. We're there. We have the sign on the door.
The Billionaire Podcast.
This is the Billionaire Podcast.
That's how you go.
That's how it goes.
Yes.
So hold on. So we'll go back now to the Porsche. So what about like the Lamborghini?
I would pick the Cayenne Turbo GT
Yeah,
over the
over that.
Urus.
Over the Lamborghini.
Yeah. Over the Lambo SUV.
Yeah, over the Urus,
Yeah,
yeah.
over the Lambo SUV.
I hear the
It
Lamb
looks
trucks
sweet though.
not fast. I hear them not fast.
Yeah, but hold on. though, that
Them
looks
quick.
Yeah.
Them quick, but them
But
have,
you're, but
them
you're
have the
right. I would
horsepower.
say the Porsche would be the
Them have the
right.
horsepower, but them heavier. Them heavier.
I would say the Porsche would be the ultimate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That particular Porsche,
Yeah.
for sure.
For the
I raced
4x4,
against
which
it
Audi.
the other day.
There is against it. What was the outcome?
I mean, the man is pushing 700 horses. Come on, man. Man is pushing 700
man
horses.
I got a phone call after
Yeah.
after a little while, and he said to me, "Boy, dog, I know it's you in front of me, you know." And I said, "Boy, the back of the car, fat in the dog."
Yeah.
I said, "Yeah." And he says, "So what up?" He said, "Dog, I hear with my brethren in the car." I says, "Why am I doing this?"
Why?
I says, "Why am I bringing a knife to a gunfight?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
I said, "Do I really want to take on Doug Gore on a public road? No, maybe not."
Maybe
But
not.
most of your friends them have similar type of cars though.
Yeah.
Like fast cars and stuff like that.
Yeah, I do have a couple of friends that have some serious.
So that's something that keeps you motivated
Two.
to keep on having and keep on doing.
No, you know, when I had a S4 and S5, sorry, and after I sold it, and I said to myself, you know, I really and truly should have bought the RS model with that car.
Yeah.
And Adam Stewart had his, and he was selling his. I was trying my best to sell my S4 that I could buy Adam's
RS5.
RS5, sorry. And it was after that Adam sold his, I then sold mine. And I'm upstairs watching TV with my wife, and I looked over at her and I said, "Boy, all right, so I sold my car. You know, I need to think of a car that I want to buy." And she says, "Well, guess what? You've done well for yourself. You don't owe nobody no money.
Yeah.
You have your own house. You have a business. Says buy something that you really want."
Do what make you happy.
Yeah. And at that point, I thought about it and I said, you know, she's right.
Mm-hmm.
Why am I now going? I'm going to now find the ultimate vehicle that I want.
Yeah.
I wanted a car that I could take my entire family in the car. I could have gobs and gobs of power that if I wanted to drive really hard, I could. And also something that would be visually impact to me that I would now go and say, I would walk out every morning and go, yeah, this is a nice car.
Mm-hmm.
And just like you guys came up and said, boy, whose car is that outside? And I said, hey.
Yeah.
And you know, everybody will go, boy, what a sweet car. And I mean, I've driven down the road and people sit there and I'll take out their phone and video it and that sort of thing. So yeah, that's what I wanted and I think I got it. I really think I chose the right one.
Yeah.
So you're coming back to what was the ultimate car and if I sold this car, what would I buy? I don't know, I'd probably buy another one.
So sweet.
Yeah,
All right, so for your pick of the 4x4, you would put the RS7 then?
The
RS7 for the quattro system because you said your SUV.
For sure.
Yeah. All right,
That
so
would be
you're
my ultimate. And I would definitely say for the SUV, I would agree with you.
the Cayenne Turbo GT.
Porsche.
And so now we have your rear wheel drive left.
So we go back to probably a rear-wheel drive M3. Yeah,
Calm.
yeah, man. I mean,
Calm
that would be
pick.
like, wow.
Yeah.
The only thing that I've driven the M3s before and the older models, which I hear now the newer models have changed. But the one that I drove, Adam Stewart had one and he actually gave me the keys for a weekend. And he complained that I'd done the rear tires on the car when I gave it back. But you know, when I got the car and I said to myself, we come back to the same white knuckle driving. Every time I stepped on the car, it's like I had to be thinking way outside of the box. In other words, it got to the point where it was fun for 5 minutes, it was fun for 10 minutes,
Then it
but it's
becomes
not
less
fun
fun.
for 20.
Yeah.
You see what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
So you, at that point, now I hear now that the new one now you can actually adjust now
The
how the
yeah.
power
Your
comes
torque
in and the
response, etc. Yeah.
So it'd be interesting to drive something like that. But that car, to me, I handed him back the keys and I said, I even said to Adam, I said, this car is not for you.
Not your style. Yeah.
And he actually ended up now buying the 4-wheel drive, 4-door M3 model, and he loves it now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in terms of like these different rallies, the circuit racing, the Dover, and all of that, if we wanted to actually start going and just getting more into the culture, but I like cars, but it's just my thing is I don't know too many people that have cars or a part of that type of thing. Cause I'd spend some money
So
right now and
therefore,
buy
now I'm inviting all of you now to come to Jam West on Sunday.
to Jammers on Sundays, and this is a every Sunday thing.
No. This is this Sunday.
This is this
Big,
Sunday.
big circuit race this Sunday. Huge.
Okay. Okay. So how often
The
that
last
happen though?
time that we had probably about 6,000 to 7,000 people that attended.
67,000 or 6
6
to
to
7?
7,000.
Okay. So I said 6 to
Yeah.
7,000.
And we were talking about it earlier. Is that can you imagine how you're going to a cricket match or a football match, and you look around and you say, oh, how much people came? And it was a couple hundred people. Okay, so how can I now go to a corporate sponsor and say to them, hey, this is my drink, and I want to put that drink on the side of my car, like I have Boom. And I go to Wisconsin and I says, listen, man, this is the right way to go. And they says, but why? I mean, motor racing. Okay, so that individual might not know about motor racing, so you have to teach him. And I can now go to him and say, listen, man, at our last event, we had 6,000 people there.
Yeah.
And they went, 6,000? When last you see any more than, say, all 400 or 500 people at the last cricket or football match?
Yeah.
You don't see it. I mean, even track and field, unless you
feel like everybody likes
cars. Or a Sapper Powell come, you ain't seen that in the crowd.
I feel like everybody likes cars. Everybody. Girl, guys, everybody likes cars. You know? So that's the thing. So even like, because that's something I aspire to, because I was going to do it a couple of years ago too, like, as I said, build out something, bring it, but I never knew nobody that was going to Jam West, and I just always hear the names. Yeah. And then everything is always like YouTube. So I see how things are being done in Europe, in America, in different countries. I watch a lot of Fast and the Furious, although them kind of start going to space now.
It get a little ridiculous.
But you watch it as well.
Oh, Lord. The last one, everybody was all my family was like, come on, we have to go and sit.
It's funny still, the last one kind of funny.
Yeah, but then you're sitting there as a car person and you're saying this guy going down in reverse, down some steps, and you're saying to yourself, there's just no way.
No way.
You just know.
Yeah, I was actually said in the movie that no Indian movie can compete with the lies that this movie has told. So like, no Indian movie lies.
Lie.
And karate movie lie.
Lie. Lie.
As well.
Bush lie.
Yeah. So we would want to start. You asking a question? Oh, sorry. You want the mic?
You're coming into camera?
All right. So you've been dominating the industry for decades, right? So my question to you is, how do you manage to strategize and remain consistent? Because a lot of people have issues with consistency. So what are some of the strategies that you employ to make sure that you're dominant?
I tell everybody, keep yourself relevant. It's very important to keep yourself relevant.
How do you do that though? Like, people always say, how do you? People always say keep yourself relevant, but how exactly do you keep yourself relevant? But before you answer the how you keep yourself relevant, you can answer the question first, because I don't want to.
Well, all right. So you reached out to me and you said, Doug, we wanted to become a part of this podcast.
Billionaire Podcast.
And I said to you, all right, let us do it. That was my first answer. Can you imagine how many people that you have reached out to that have never been in this room?
True. That's true.
Yeah?
That's true.
And that is the whole idea of keeping myself relevant.
Yeah.
I am going to now go and I will tell you a story of TVJ. They called around all the local big motor racing stalwarts at the time. The David Somerville's, the Peter Rays, the Moody's, all of them that were big into motor racing at that time. And they said, listen, man, we want you to come on to Smile Jamaica. Smile Jamaica was brand new at the time. We wanted to come on early morning show, and we need you there. Every one of them said, boy, can't make it. Yeah. And the guy now that was one of the cameramen said, hey, call Doug Gore.
Yeah.
He said, yeah, but Doug live all the way in Montego Bay. I said, call him, man.
Yeah.
And they called me on the phone and I said, Doug, would you come? And I said, when? I said, boy, tomorrow morning, you have to be here at 7. I thought about it. I said, all right, I'll be there.
R7 on the highway.
I got there at 7 o'clock. I was there, all the makeup on. We're there doing the TV. And guess what? There is not a time where I can call TVJ and say, hey, I have something that I want to go. I have a brand new brand that I want to publicize. Can I come down and be on your TV show? Doug, what day you want to come? And that is, and because they have the respect
building good relationships.
Yeah, they have the respect for me now that say they can call on me and I should be able to call on them. That is one of the biggest things of keeping yourself relevant, because I always want to be on the TV, the radio station, anything that I can get publicity from, because I want to keep myself relevant. And guess what? I can now go at the end of even this week and say, guess what? I was on a podcast. You can go on this link. Here is
Yeah.
what it's going to show.
Yeah.
And I can say to all my sponsors, and they will
And
come
that
back
benefits
want
both
to-
of us.
Yeah, and I will be there talking about their brand. You see,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's important.
And the funny thing is, though, is this podcast, right? In terms of, you can ask her, we were actually planning to come down to Mobile for you.
Yes.
You know, they will say, "Oh, okay, I make it to Kingston." You best believe we're down in Mobile with you right now. We'd probably be on the beach having lunch right now.
So one of the things is that one of my biggest sponsors, which
Yeah.
is Spanish Court S Hotel, which is Mr. Is, and he called me and said, "Doug, you have to be James Bond tonight at the food award."
You have to meet James Bond.
Yes. And you're going to be sitting down there
that?
beside Miss Universe.
Yeah.
And boy, Doug, you have to come. We're going to put you up at the hotel. Da da da.
Yeah.
And I'm saying, man. And I said, all right, you got to do what you got to do.
You gotta meet James Bond.
Yeah, you got to be
Yeah.
James Bond. And that is when I called you and say, hey, or we linked up and we say, hey, I'll be here. Matter of fact, I have to leave soon.
Yeah.
Because I have to be at the event at 6 o'clock. Yeah.
With James Bond.
yeah.
They're shooting another one in Jamaica right now?
No, this is just that they want me to portray him at the food awards.
Oh, you're going to portray James Bond.
Yeah.
Oh, you're going to
Be
be
James Bond.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. At the
You know,
food awards.
yeah, so that's that cool still.
Yeah.
Doug 007.
Yeah.
So I think I'm going to say Bond, Hollywood Bond.
Hollywood Bond. Real.
That would be lit. That would be lit. So Doug, we're really looking forward to well, we want to. I don't know if it's like a motorsports club or something like that you guys have out there,
yeah.
but I don't know how to get in. You know, we
So
want to
again,
learn
we'll
how
come
to.
back to the same thing. Come to Jam West. Let me introduce you to the guys.
Yeah.
Bring your cameras. Bring the crew.
Jam West
Yeah.
Sunday.
If you can't go to Jam West, I know it's all the way in the grill. Come to the next Dover.
Kim
which is-
Ayaga have
which
it out,
is
you know.
at the-
Kim Ayaga have it out, yeah?
And that one they are puzzle up.
I
Boy.
was supposed to have something Sunday in a but
Okay.
Jam West looking real.
Or you come to the
Yeah.
next Dover and make sure that you guys can get in and be in my VIP area.
yeah.
And I'll make sure that I'll show you all around and introduce you to everybody.
Yeah.
I'm looking.
That's a bit lovely, man. I'm looking forward to all of this.
picturing my future right now.
Yeah.
Like billionaire racing.
On the
see that?
raceway.
Yeah, that's
Nice,
what we're
nice,
about.
nice.
That's what we're about. So thanks for being on the pod, man. It's really amazing.
Absolutely.
We know you have big things to do, like going to be James Bond tonight. You know?
Right now.
right now.
Right now.
So
That's
we
why the
leave it.
phone kind of got like a ballistic. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So we leave it to it, and then Jam West Sunday, you're the one that is. And guys, remember, he said it. He's the one that is kind of introducing us to racing and getting us involved and helping us start the network within the space. So we look forward to it. It is really big for us because we always wanted to do that.
Yeah, man.
It's no fun when you're alone because me and him alone probably will buy some stuff and then it's us alone. But imagine us having you as a mentor for us or having your friends or people that you are
And
around.
we'll come back to the same thing we talked about earlier. Just the right links.
Yeah.
right links.
Know the right people.
Yeah.
You start one and then, boy, trust me, it's a domino effect.
Start run left Nicklu and probably run left RS7.
Man.
Well, I set that up. I'd love to do a pod with you and him like at the same time. Or you, him and M God. Because
Yeah.
M God has gotten very popular
Yeah.
right now as well.
Yeah.
In terms of in vehicles and stuff like that. Yeah, Instagram is crazy, So we're looking forward to it, man. So respect again for being on the pod. I forget to handshake twice.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Love to have you.
Yeah, so you guys saw the vehicle already? What's the sign? I need to see that. I need to hear the
Go.
engine.
RS7, man. Big beast.
This is
Nice.
this is Khalil's spot. Khalil is studying mechanical engineering right now, and we had the real man, the big man, Doug, who is basically a king in motorsports on the pod. And I came in a little late, but Khalil did his thing, and now we're going to have to see Doug Hollywood's, Audi RS7.
Sport pack. Only one in the Caribbean.
Only one.
Believe.
Come. So we're looking down to see it and we have to hear the engine and we have to, Yo.
Gore.
See this? Hollywood on the plate.
ABT. St. Joe. Only one in the Caribbean.
Big boy, you know?
Yeah, man, I'll take the front shot, so.
Go.
You know the details?
Yeah, get some revs though. Yeah.
Out of way. No, I'm not. Nobody not with me. Anything you want.
Anything you
Eh?
want.
Come do anything you want.
It's the Billionaire Podcast.
Ah! It's a Billionaire Pod. Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, hold on.
Yeah.
Alright.
Alright.
Launch control coming.
Yeah. Yo, where you going? Bro,
Tell Nick Lou to fall.
I tell him to forward. Big up. Yo, that's sweet.
Oh my god, bro.
Huh? You want to race him? Eh? Yo, Patrick said want to race him. Forward.
Watch you ready for lose.
Eh? Man say want to race him. Want to sit up? I'm going to send it to someone to deal with it. You hear that? You hear that a while ago? Big man thing. We're getting involved. Like, real things going to be flying down and shipping off and revving out and them thing there.
Whole workshop full out.
Everything.
You're not going to see us for a while. We're busy under some engines.
That's how we end in the pod.
Ah.